We just got a ton of new information regarding NHL 26, and specifically gameplay for the upcoming title. Now, if you haven't already seen the gameplay deep dive, the link will be down below in the description, but today's video is going to have a ton more information than just the deep dive. Seriously, we have a lot to go over. Now, first things first, if you happen to be new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more NHL 26 news, gameplay, HUT, be a pro, and everything else in the future. And let's get into the brand new information we know regarding NHL 26. First up, we're talking about community feedback. Now, I've been working on this video for legitimately about 5 hours now, and I'm at the end and I'm editing it, and I've realized I'm actually super excited for some of the changes coming to the game. Specifically, goalies and some of the stuff for Ice Q. I'm also very nervous about some of the stuff coming to the game, like Xfactors. We're going to go through all of that throughout this video, but I wanted to throw this in there. I realized how excited I am reading some of this information, and then reading some of the information, I'm going, oh boy, that's not good. All right, now, community feedback. I feel like this is super important to get out of the way first, because I know there's going to be a ton of questions regarding the LT, reverse hitting, hip checking, and more. First up, vision control, or the LT. We made a targeted adjustment to how vision control behaves when used aggressively up ice. In NHL 25, players were able to skate forward or hustle with LT held and maintain puck-facing posture with minimal downside. In many cases, this was becoming the dominant way to carry the puck in transition, even when it wasn't the most appropriate choice. Legitimately one of the biggest complaints I saw the entire year of NHL 25. In NHL 26, we've added a penalty to consecutive pivot overrides in those situations. You can still use vision control to scan and protect effectively, but doing so repeatedly while skating forward is no longer the most efficient way to move through the neutral zone. The intention is to reward smarter, more deliberate use of vision control and restore balance between control and acceleration when skating with the puck. Hopefully this does mean the end of the LT spam, players turning their back in the offensive zone consistently, and then when you go to poke the puck, you take a penalty, or when they just LT up the ice the entire time and get a speed boost. Excited to see if that's actually changed. Next up, hip check tuning. Another massive complaint was how OP hip checking was. Let's see what they're doing about it. Hip checks have also been adjusted based on how they were being used, particularly in forechecking scenarios. We wanted to address a scenario where players would skate directly at a puck carrier and quickly flip 180 degrees to deliver a hip check at full force. This wasn't aligned with how hip checks were intended to function. To address this, hip check strength is now reduced based on turn angle. If you need to rotate sharply into the animation, the check becomes less effective. This encourages better alignment and more realistic use of body positioning. So the LT's been nerfed, hip checking's been nerfed. What's next? Reverse hitting. Reverse hits have been retuned to give size and strength a more consistent impact on outcomes. Larger players now have a clear advantage when absorbing contact and redirecting force through a reverse hit, which helps reinforce physical identity and role. Smaller skaters can still use reverse hits situationally, but they will no longer be able to consistently win collisions against bigger players by default. This change creates more believable outcomes and rewards smarter timing, instead of relying purely on animation triggers. And that does sound okay, but it doesn't sound like they nerf them. Like, I feel like reverse hits were super OP in NHL 25, and this doesn't seem to be helping that, especially if you're using a large player. I like that they're making a change to reverse hitting, but I don't think this is going to end up being enough. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now that is it for the community feedback portion of the deep dive. And unfortunately, there was no mention on D2D one-timers, and I know a lot of people are upset that D2D 1Ts are so overpowered. I'm hoping that's not the case here in NHL 26. Let's go ahead and move on to another portion of the deep dive. Reworked Xfactors.
So we've crafted an arsenal of 28 refined and enhanced Xfactors that span 5 different categories with unique animations and tactical gameplay outcomes. Each of those Xfactors has 3 tiers of impact, which can be felt and seen more clearly in gameplay with new, distinct gameplay animations and presentation elements.
Alright, looks like some big changes. Let's get into it. Xfactors have been a part of Chell for a few years, but in NHL 26, they've been rebuilt from the ground up. The goal was to give them a more strategic weight and make their impact more visible and consistent. So for everyone who was hoping that Xfactors were going to be gone from NHL 26, they've actually become more prominent. We've defined 28 Xfactors at launch. Every ability is built around a specific gameplay identity and supported by visual triggers and tactical outcomes. And here's a quick look at the Xfactor Rocket in action with the Edmonton Oilers' Evan Bouchard. Every Xfactor now has 3 levels of effectiveness. At higher tiers, the ability becomes more pronounced, whether that means greater shot velocity, stronger contact, or more reliable pass threading. Now here's an example of the 3-tiered X-Factor system. We've got Specialist, All-Star, and Elite tiers. For Ankle Breaker, it says create separation using dekes with a temporary boost of speed when using a deke to successfully get around a defender. Successful dekes can trigger largic panic reactions on opposing players. So not only will Ankle Breaker affect you, but it has the chance to affect your opponent as well. So with the Specialist X-Factor, you're going to get a 10% boost of your speed and acceleration for 0.3 of a second, and a 10% speed boost on your toe drag. For All-Star, you'll get a full second speed boost and acceleration boost of 10%, and a 50% toe drag speed boost. And for Elite, you will get a 10% speed and acceleration boost for 1 2/3 of a second, as well as a 90% speed boost for your toe drag. So if you have the Ankle Breaker ability active and you successfully perform a deke, this is what you're going to get. Now, when we have access to all 28 X-Factors, I will go through them in a separate video going one by one what each one is going to do. As of right now, we do not have that information, and I'm sorry. With that being said, I am going to go ahead and show you the ones that we do know. I'll go through them quickly, and if you want to take a pause and read everything for yourself, you can go ahead and do that. So here we have Wheels, Elite Edges, and Second Win. It looks like Elite Edges is going to be super powerful in NHL 26. Next up, we have Backhand Beauty, Send It, and Tape to Tape. Here's a look at Backhand Beauty working with Sidney Crosby. Next up, we have Ankle Breaker, which we already talked about, Big Rig, and Unstoppable. And it looks like Unstoppable is going to be super OP with the reverse hit. On to Body and Stick Checking, where we have Truculence, Spark Plug, and Hipster. Yes, hip checking has its own X-Factor ability. And then for goaltending, we have Post to Post, Sponge, and Dialed In. Let's hope that goalies are actually good here in NHL 26. Now, we also get a look at Quick Pick, and we actually get to see Quick Pick in action here with Alexander Barkov. Now, there is a lot more of that in the actual deep dive trailer itself. Again, the link is down below in the description. We've spent a lot of time on X-Factors, and I think it's time to move on. Let's start talking about goalies and the goalie crease control system.
The all-new goalie crease control system brings players an upgraded awareness between the posts thanks to 81 new animations, close-range saves, poke checks, as well as upgraded AI positioning that gives goalies increased control over the blue paint.
A hot topic every single year, because they never seem to be good. Has EA finally done it this year? Let's talk about it. First of all, they've added over 80 new save animations. This gives goalies more variety and modern movement, including updated reflex saves, better body traps, and more active stick work to sweep away low shots. You'll see quicker pokes, tighter seals, and improved reactions in close. Sounds great? I will believe it when I see it. Positional awareness and save logic. We've improved how goalies read the puck and anticipate shot locations. In years past, a quick forehand-backhand deke or a cross-crease pass could break the system too easily. That's no longer the case. You're telling me they solved the forehand-backhand problem? Now you have my attention. Let's see if that's real. Goalies now use positional logic to preemptively stretch out or close off gaps. New pose-matching logic also lets them react more quickly to the shot they're facing. If it is true that the goalies are going to save the forehand-backhand a lot more often, that is huge. The news we got in this paragraph right here could be the biggest thing for NHL 26. I pray that it's real and true. Goalies have been atrocious for so long. Real-time responsiveness. We've introduced a new consecutive save system that allows goalies to break out of one animation and immediately respond to a new threat. If a puck changes direction or a rebound lands in front, they no longer have to finish the original save before reacting. This sounds incredible. Covers are now faster and more reliable. Goalies can smother loose pucks directly out of a save attempt, and we've also added new get-up saves so goalies can make a play even while recovering from a previous action. Again, I'm super skeptical on if this is actually going to work, but if it does, this completely changes the way we play NHL. Here's one of the reactionary saves on a tip. And here's a look at a new rebound animation and the control they have. This all does sound super promising. I am still skeptical, but cautiously optimistic, I guess. Smarter AI based on goalie type. Goalie positioning is now tied to a player size and style. For example, smaller, aggressive goalies like UC Saros step out to challenge shooters and take away angles, while larger, more positional goalies like Darcy Kemper stay deeper and rely on their frame to block space. Goalies track wraparounds, sharp angle chances, and backdoor passes more effectively, and they adjust crease depth and movement based on play in front of them. And then one more little thing to talk about goalies here before we move on. Emotion in the crease. We also wanted to give goalies more presence. You'll see desperation glove saves, split-second pad slides, and emotional reactions after getting beat. The result is a goaltending experience that feels active and alive from puck drop to final horn.
And if one slips past them, new goalie reactions let you feel their emotion when the opposition lights the lamp. The goalie crease control system provides an increased level of realism and effectiveness to the netminders that we know players have been waiting for.
Whether you're controlling them directly or trusting the AI, goalies now play with a sense of purpose that hasn't been there before. Alright, the next thing we're going to be talking about is IceQ 2.0, now powered by NHL Edge.
In NHL 26, IceQ 2.0 uses that treasure trove of NHL Edge player data to impact how players perform in game.
Real-life data tracking and stats now affecting the way we play NHL. Let's dive in. We've reimagined how attributes work in NHL 26 using real NHL Edge tracking data. The goal was to make ratings more than just stats on a card. For example, Connor McDavid's first few strides now feel like a true burst. When he gains possession in the neutral zone, you'll feel that window to turn speed into separation. For Austin Matthews, he gets a shot off with a smoother, more deceptive release. And for Cale Makar, he plays with a level of control that lets him escape forecheckers or recover on broken plays. His movement is fluid, especially when changing direction or transitioning between zones. So we should now be able to tell when Connor McDavid or Cale Makar are carrying the puck versus someone else. You'll feel the difference between a power forward and a finesse playmaker. Speedsters can generate gaps more easily. Two-way forwards become better gap closers. Heavy hitters carry their weight into every check. The end result is that attributes now create visible, moment-to-moment separation. You'll start making lineup decisions based on not just who's higher rated, but who actually fits your playstyle. Again, this all sounds amazing, I'll believe it when I see it, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
It's used to inform key player attributes like skating acceleration, top speed, slap shot power, and wrist shot power, giving in-game superstars true-to-life differentiation.
Moving on to tendencies, they build on the foundation by shaping how players behave on the ice. These aren't just stat boosts, they are habits built using NHL Edge tracking that define how a player plays shift to shift. For example, Leon Draisaitl often shoots from sharp angles and low percentage areas near the goal line. In NHL 26, you'll see him take those shots from tight space instead of circling wide or forcing a pass.
Highlighting their signature moves, like Draisaitl taking sharp angle shots on goal, and McKinnon's love for laying out the body, brings her on-ice character to life. So far, we have 22 unique tendencies spanning both offensive and defensive impacts that have been crafted to make those in-game NHL players perform in lifelike fashion.
Other examples include Jacob Trouba lining up open ice hits, and Alex Ovechkin positioning himself in his usual left circle spot.
So his skills are aligned with his real-life self, and AI Obi will naturally position himself in his patented power play spot at the appropriate time.
Once again, sounds extremely cool, hopefully works out the way that they're talking about it here. We have one more little paragraph regarding IceQ 2.0. There are 22 unique tendencies at launch, and they influence both on-puck and off-puck behavior. That includes things like zone entries, reaction timing, defensive spacing, and shooting habits. If you're playing against someone like Connor Bedard or Sidney Crosby, you'll start to anticipate where they're going to be and what kind of decisions they'll make under pressure. If you're using them, you'll notice they find space in smarter ways. Look for their go-to spots and attack with more identity. These systems are designed to make NHL players feel more like themselves and to make every matchup feel more dynamic and true to life. Alright, the next thing we're talking about is going to be presentation.
One of the big components of IceQ 2.0 is how it presents in-game. You can feel it as you play, but it really comes alive with new animations and visualized breakdowns. Expanded replay insights highlight everything from skating speed, shot speed, shooting percentage, and threat analyses on goal. New broadcast graphics showcase player comparisons at face-offs to amp up the in-game storytelling. Speaking of, multi-story replays will now highlight important, sequential game narratives. We've also created new cameras to capture those big moments and give them the spotlight they deserve.
Now, the deep dive trailer does a good job of explaining pretty much everything, but we'll go through it here real quickly. We wanted to make sure the gameplay systems we built weren't just working in the background. We wanted players to see them come to life. That meant rethinking how we surface real-time data. In NHL 26, we've upgraded the presentation layer across the board. From new overlays and broadcast visuals to smarter replays and stat-driven analysis, you'll get more context for what's happening on the ice and why. This isn't just about adding flash, these tools are designed to help players recognize what led to a goal, how an opponent is generating offense, or why a certain matchup is breaking in one direction. You'll notice new key insights across new areas that include things like expanded replays that show skating speed, shot angle, release point, and puck trajectory, threat indicators for high danger players in scoring zones, face-off stat comparisons showing head-to-head performance, multi-sequence replays that connect key moments like turnovers, zone clears, and key saves. This brings a deeper sense of storytelling to every shift. It's not just about what happened, it's about how and why it happened.
As you can see, incredible updates to Chell this year. I'm excited for you to get into the game, get on the ice, and feel that superstar impact yourself. NHL 26 is available for pre-order now.
And guys, that is going to do it for this video. Now, personally, looking through everything, I'm very excited for Goalies. If it's real, that will be the biggest change to the game. All the Ice Q stuff sounds awesome. We'll have to see how it all plays out. I'm definitely nervous for Xfactors. If you have any questions, please leave them down below and I'll do my best to answer everybody. And please let me know what you think of all of the changes for gameplay coming to NHL 26. We went through a lot of different information here today, and if everything in this video happens to be true for NHL 26, we actually have a different game this year. There's a lot of changes that will make things feel different. But we're gonna have to wait and see and actually get our hands on the game before we can tell if these are actually true or if it's all marketing. Now, this is your friendly reminder to get EA Play before buying the game to make sure you like it before you waste your money. It's a few dollars a month, you'll get a 10-hour trial, and if you don't like it, don't buy it. Anyways, y'all, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow right here on the channel with yet another video. And once again, if you happen to enjoy the video, don't forget to subscribe for more NHL 26 videos in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay frosty.